Hello students, let's solve the next problem. Mr. X furnishes following information. You are required to compute gross total income. Okay. Profit and loss account is given. To salary to staff 15,000, it is a business expenditure. Okay. To advertisement 8,000, it is a business expenditure. Fine. To repairs to house 2,000. Okay, I'll say this is a house property. So it is personal. So you have to add back. Okay. To municipal tax. Now it might belong to business premises or it might belong to house property. So depending on that, right? If it belongs to house property, then self-occupied house, then you have to add. If it belongs to business, then that is allowed. Correct? To fire insurance to house, okay, so this you have to add because it is not a business expense. To fire insurance to office go down, this is a business expense. To office expenses, okay. To life insurance premium, that is personal, so you will add. To depreciation, house property disallowed, okay, so 6,000 you have to add. Business asset is allowed, okay. To fine and penalties are always disallowed, so 2,000 you will add. To income tax is application of income, you will add. Income tax penalties are always disallowed, so 1,000 you will add. To interest on loan for business, okay, so it is a business expenditure. To interest on loan for construction of house, okay, so interest on loan for construction of house, this is disallowed. Okay. Next, to donation 2,000, that is personal, so you will add. Now let's see the credit side. To buy gross profit, okay. By rent of house, so this is income from house property, correct? So you will treat it separately. By dividend from Indian company, so by dividend from Indian company is exempt, and by net loss is given. Fine. Let us see the adjustment. He owns a house property, okay. 50% was let out for monthly rent of rupees 2,500. 25% he carries his business. Oh, fine. Now actually from this adjustment, whatever we have discussed, everything goes wrong, okay, because he is having only one property. He owns a house property. So what has happened? He owns a house property. 50% is let out property. 25% in another 25% he is doing business, and remaining 25% he is staying in the house. So in one property is divided in three parts. Okay, 50% is let out, 25% is self-occupied, and 25% is using for business purpose. Okay, so now your whatever you predicted for your expenses, it all changes, okay, because he is having only one house. For example, to repairs to house, okay, now repairs to house means it is for full house, correct? 50% is let out, okay. 25% is for business purpose. So that 25% which is for business purpose, that is allowed. Remaining 75% is let out for self-occupied property and as well as for let out property. That part is let out. That part is disallowed. Only the part which is for business purpose, that is allowed. So your business to house, 25% of 2,000 is allowed, remaining 75% is disallowed, okay. Even municipal tax is paid for this house, correct? So 25% is for business purpose, so 25% is allowed, remaining 75% is disallowed. Even fire insurance to house, okay, 25% is allowed, remaining 75% is disallowed. Got it? Because 25% of the house property is using for business purpose. So 25% is business property. Got it? Now let's start solving. Write down. Computation of income from business. Yeah. Write down computation of income from business. Now adjustment changes everything. Computation of income from business. 3 columns, particulars, amount. Net loss as per profit and loss account. It is 16,600. Add disallowed business expenses. Or expenses to be treated separately. Okay. So you see the debit side, to salary to staff, okay, to advertisement, okay, to repairs to house. Repairs to house means 25% is business property, 25% is self-occupied property, and 50% is let out property. So 25%, which is business property, that is allowed, and remaining 75% is disallowed, right? So repairs to house property, $2,000 into 75% is disallowed, so which is 1,500. Okay. Similarly, municipal tax and fire insurance to house. Municipal tax is paid for the whole property, right? Now you know 25% is business property, 25% is self-occupied property, and 50% is let out property. So 25%, which is business property, that is allowed, remaining 75% is disallowed. So how much is the municipal tax paid? 3,000. So 3,000 into 75% is disallowed. It comes to 2,250. Okay. And fire insurance to house. Again, in this house 25% is business, so remaining is disallowed. So 1,600 into 75%. So 1,200 is disallowed. Correct? Okay. Next is fire insurance to office go down, that is a business expense. To office expense, that is a business expense. To life insurance premium, this is personal. So 3,000 you will add. Okay. Okay. Next, to depreciation. House property. Now, house property 25% is business property, right? So, only 25% is allowed. Remaining 75% again disallowed. Business asset is allowed. Fine. So, again, depreciation house property. Depreciation on house property. 25% is allowed because 25% is business property and remaining 75% is disallowed. Which is 4,500. Okay. Next. To fine and penalties, always disallowed. Okay. To income tax, 4,000 you have to add. To income tax penalty, 1,000, that also you have to add. Okay. So, fines and penalties. Income tax and income tax penalties. Which is 4,000 and 1,000. Okay. Okay. Next. Interest on loan for business 3,800, it is business expenditure. Interest on loan for construction of house. Okay. So again, this house 25% is allowed, remaining 75% is disallowed. Okay. So remaining 75% you can claim when you are calculating income from house property. Okay. So to interest on loan for construction of house. So 5,000 into 75%. Does it comes to 3,750? Yes. Next, and to donation, so 2,000. Okay. Okay. So credit side, rent of house, dividend from Indian company. Fine. Okay. Now you can add this and write in the outer column. When you total it, it comes to 25,200. And when you total this, oh, this is a net loss. Okay, so put it in bracket. So 25,200 minus 16,600, it comes to 8,600. Less exempted income or income to be treated separately. or allowed business expenditure. Okay. So in this, rent of the house, that is 50% of the house. Just calculate. See, in your adjustment, in the additional information, it is given, oops, okay. He owns a house property, 50% was let out for monthly rent of rupees 2500, correct? So 2500 into 12. How much is 2500 into 12? Yes, it comes to 30,000, correct? So by rent of house is 30,000. It is there in the adjustment also, right? So it matches fine. It is matching with the adjustment. Okay. So just write here, rent of house in your P&L account it is 30,000. That's why we are writing 30,000. Okay. And dividend from Indian company. So dividend from Indian company is exempt. So 12,500. That's it. 30,000 and 12,500. This amount you are writing, you are adding from your P&L account, okay? Which makes it 42,500. You subtract 42,500 from 8,600. You will get a business loss. 33,900. What is this? This is business loss. Okay. Now let's compute income from house property. Two columns, particulars, amount. No, two columns, particulars and amount. There is 25% self-occupied property, okay, and 75% let out, no, 50% let out property, okay, and 25% business property, that is exempt. You are not supposed to show it here, correct? So I'll write you are not supposed to show it here, business property 25%, it is exempt, right? Then self-occupied property, which is 25%. So annual value or gross annual value is always nil. Gross annual value minus municipal tax annual value, that is net annual value, is always nil. in the case of self-occupied property, correct? Then there is only one deduction, which is interest on loan. So interest on loan was 5,000. No, interest was 5,000. So 5,000 into 25%, which is 1,250. So 1,250 is your loss. Okay. The next part, which is let out property. Let out property is 50%. So rent received is given in the adjustment, correct? That is your actual income. Okay, received or receivable. So rent received is 2,500 into 12. Which is given in the adjustment, okay? Which is 30,000. That means you have received also that much, because this is there in your P&L account also. Less municipal tax. Paid. Only if it is paid, correct? It is there in your P&L account. We'll assume that it is paid, which was 3,000, no? 3,000, yes. 3,000 into 50%. 1,500. You subtract 1,500, you will get 28,500. This is your net annual value, NAV. Okay. Less. There are two deduction. One is interest on loan and another one is standard deduction. Interest on loan is given as 5,000. So 5,000 into 50%. Which comes to 2,500. And second one is standard deduction at the rate 30%. So 28,500 into 30%. 28,500 into 30% comes to 8,550. Total it right in the outer column. Okay, 11,050. Okay, now 28,500 minus 11,050. Which comes to 17,450. So my income from house property is 1,250 negative plus 17,450. So 17,450 minus 1,250 is how much? 16,200. So this is my income from house property. Okay, I should have made 2 columns. Then this and this I can write in the outer column. Instead of writing like this, I should have written like that. Okay, anyway, not a problem. Income from house property 16,200. Okay. And income from other sources, there is only one, which is dividend from Indian company. So that is exempt. So write down computation of gross total income. Computation of gross total income. Make 2 columns. Particulars amount. Section 15. Income from salary, which is nil. Section 22. Income from house property, which is 16,200. Section 28. Income from business, we have calculated 33,900. It is a loss. So I'll write in the bracket 33,900. That means it is loss. Okay. Section 45, capital gains. Which is nil. Section 56, income from other source. Now income from other source, there is one, dividend from Indian company. Which is exempt. Okay. Okay. Now, loss from business is 33,900 and income from house property is 16,200. Okay, income from business loss can be set off from house property. Okay, and this you will be learning in next semester. So 33,900 minus 16,200 is how much? It comes to 17,700, which is your loss, correct? So this is your gross total loss. Instead of gross total income, you'll write gross total loss because it is negative. Okay. So by now, I believe that all my students have understood all the problems which we have solved. I want you all to solve all the questions of the question bank. Okay. If anybody has doubt, please you feel free to contact me. Okay, we have completed our tax portion. So exams are conducted or not, it doesn't matter. Marks don't define you anyway. So never stop learning. Try to be better version of yourself every day. Have fun, stay blessed, keep learning, be safe, be positive. Thank you very much, students. Have a great day.